Hello, everyone, and welcome to the lecture 4 on the judge training series on reply speeches. I'm Taryn, and I will be talking about reply speeches today in three parts. The first one is rules and role. The second one is replies and practice. The third one is permissible versus impermissible material. Based on the rules, the reply speech can be given by the first or second speaker, never by the third. It is 4 minutes long, and you go in reverse order. So opposition reply gives the speech first, and then proposition reply second. Neither reply speaker can introduce a new part of the case. In practice, I think this maybe gives a more clear picture of what actually you will see in debates. I think we can imagine a reply speech as a justification a judge gives for why the team the speaker is from wins the debate, how they explain it, and why. It takes like a retrospective look, so it looks back at the debate as that really happened, and this debate and didn't explain based on this the outcome of why they won. I think most often we'll see that debaters break the debate into core clashes, restate initial contributions, trace challenges, defenses, resolve each clash, and so show that the team the reply speakers from actually won it. But I do think there are other effective structures that can exist, but are context dependent. What is impermissible? Reply speakers can explicitly not do two things. One, make two arguments, and in this case, an argument refers to a claim that a team makes which suggests that their side of the motion is correct. This includes both completely new arguments but also new strands of argumentation. And the second is making a rebuttal. So rebuttal refers to responding to the material that is provided by the other side. But of course, reply speakers are able to refer back to claims that were already made by the previous speakers. What is permissible? Reply speakers can add to the debate through a range of different tools. Which tools are most useful depends heavily on the debate. It typically include, but are not limited to, weighing the importance of claims, introducing methods or metrics to evaluate which clashes, subclashes matter more, making new evaluations, so evaluative comments on how the debate unfolded. There's some examples here on the slides. And lastly, introducing new examples, so new illustrations of an argument or a claim already made by a speaker early on the team. Just here in the context of this House would mandate affirmative action in university admissions, assuming we're proposition, you would not be allowed to introduce institutional mitigation efforts as a brand new mechanism to contest opposition's point directly. That would be rebuttal, not allowed. You would not be allowed to introduce a fresh rationale that universities themselves benefit from diverse cohorts, because that would be an argument. But as you see here, rather than reframing or extending a prior claim, we'd be more likely to be doing that and weighing obviously something that is allowed, arguing that impacts on marginalized students should carry the most weight, tying this to a prior claim but state responsibility for structural harm without proving anything new. This has would require all schools to be religious opposition. There are two major clashes, and let's illustrate weighing on the basis of this. The first one is whether secular schooling causes cultural alienation, and secondly, whether religious schooling entrenches social division. So the question here is, we want to show with the way that the clash that we care about is more important than the other side's clash. So we have the alienation case and proposition. We posit, for example, that it is temporary. It's a small term harm compared to our claim that we have on our side, where we codify sexism or homophobia as a moral truth. And then we should weigh here based on, for example, the length, but also maybe other metrics that we care about. The last one, or I think the second to last example here is on new observations. So in this house opposes prison privatization or proposition, we could, for example, explicitly point out that opposition, that at no point did the opposition respond to our claim that private prisons are incentivized to lobby for harsh sentencing. That means that harm stands unchallenged. This is important. Or pointing out missing links or other stuff in the cases, that would be pointing, mainly new observations. The actual last example now is on new examples. This has would legalize the use of performance-enhancing drugs in sports opposition. We could show here this nice example. I won't have to read it out. It's Tour de France. But also highlight the case we're doing. Completely new examples are allowed in the form of reply speeches. The last slide then here, I just want to do a comparison to BP web speeches. What is not permissible is a reply speech cannot offer direct rebuttal to arguments on new material, even if introduced late. Obviously, in BP whip speeches, reply speeches can and often are encouraged to do direct rebuttal to arguments, introduce new material, even oftentimes substantively extending over analytically material that already came out in Member, for example. In WSDC, this is not allowed. You cannot do rebuttal. You cannot extend on the material by adding new links, adding new things. In the same way, you can evaluate, reframe, respond, or outweigh. Um, you can evaluate, reframe existing responses or outweigh the rebuttal that has happened, but not engage in the same way as BP. So you ought also judge this differently. Thank you very much, and see you in Kenya.